Hey there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. So, the question is, do you like Led Zeppelin? If the answer is yes, you may want to continue watching. If the answer is no, chances are you are not going to like this album. That's right, we are talking Greta Van Fleet, Anthem of the Peaceful Army. Now, I know Greta Van Fleet just released a brand new album, and I know I'm behind. I have not picked up the new album yet, and the reason why is I got kind of a mixed relationship with Greta Van Fleet. Utmost respect for Greta Van Fleet. I think they are fantastic. They know what they are doing. Absolutely killer that way. Double-edged sword. Remember that question about Led Zeppelin? Sometimes they sound a little too much like Zeppelin for me. Sometimes. But totally distinct from Zeppelin. Let's be very clear. They do not write music that sounds like they're ripping off Zeppelin. They have a song, a sound, a tone, a vibe, a feel. Speaks of Zeppelin to me. Let's get into the songs before I get more into that. I'm going to get more into that at the end, okay? This is going to be a track by track one. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Age of Man opens up the album. This is the perfect introduction to this album. If you are not interested, you may not be hooked. I don't expect you to be hooked, but if you're not interested, if this song does not pique your curiosity, if this song does not make you go, this could be fun, you're going to want to bail out. I'm telling you right now. Not that every song sounds like this, but this is a perfect introduction to this album and what you are going to enjoy and experience in there. I love the way that everything's done in here. Once again, I've mentioned the Zeppelin thing. Vocalist sounds very much like Robert Plant, and you can hear it right away on this song. And the instrumentation does sound like the rest of the band. It does, you know. But Age of Man, once again, is a great way to start this album. From there, we go into The Cold Wind. The Cold Wind is actually a really good second track. It really kind of picks up the tempo, and it's got this great kind of vibe to it. I love the instrumentation behind it. I love the heavy energy on it. You know, just up and moving and going. One thing I'm going to say for sure with Greta Van Fleet is, on this album in particular, there's no real choruses that really grab and hold and sing out. This is the great proggy side of rock and roll. It really is. So if you want to get into an album, I mean, really get into an album, this is an album to get into. Like, you gotta commit to this album from beginning to end. Okay, you can't. As much as I said, if you don't like the first song, bail out. Okay, that's true. If you don't like the first song, bail the hell out. But once you get through that first song, go with it, man. You gotta ride the ride. This album gives you a great ride, and The Cold Wind sets off the ride beautifully after that introduction. You know, really kind of picks up the tempo, shows you what else the band can really do. Alright, we keep the pace really high pace when we get into the next track, which is When the Curtain Falls. I absolutely, this might be one of my favorite songs on this album. Totally dig this tune. Once again, it has that great upbeat energy going on. I love the vocals on this one. The soaring vocals in some of the points are just really cool. It really just, honestly, it's a really enjoyable song. I really wish I could give a little more to it, but other than to say that, you know, it's got that great bluesy kind of vibe to it, you know, that blues vibe that's not even Zeppelin's blues vibe, you know, the one that theoretically they lifted from, you know, the likes of Johnson and what Eric Johnson, or not Eric Johnson. Yeah, that one. Um, Sorry, but Traveling Riverside Blues, stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of cool Zeppelin-esque stuff in here, and I really enjoy it. But once again, you gotta like Zeppelin. And then we go into Watching Over, and Watching Over really brings it down. Watching Over, I really like. It's soft, but not soft rock. It's just gentle. It's a tender side, a romantic side, a loving side, a caring side, but not a oh baby 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 ballad. You know, it's not oh baby my heart. No, it's just it's a nice song. It's a good solid tune. You know. Okay, after that we go on to Lover, Leaver, Taker, Believer. Taker, Believer in brackets. Good tune. I really like this one. This is also the last really good, upbeat, heavy, foot stomping kind of song on here. All the songs on here are kind of foot stomping. It really does. I believe these guys are out of Michigan. I don't remember 100% where. I wouldn't have expected it with the music I'm hearing on this. I would have expected more southern. With not even, you know, just more southern than Michigan anyways. There's certain elements in here where, you know, I can hear some Mississippi blues, but at the same time I'm kind of hearing some of that, you know, Smoky Mountain kind of music and Tennessee kind of music, and, you know, not country, but, you know, that slide guitar and stuff like that is really good in that from in there. Maybe even a little of that Chicago blues in there, a little. I want to say Mississippi, Memphis blues. Really, I hear quite a bit of that in there. Or what I understand as Memphis blues, anyways, as I'm saying all these things. But like I said, Lover, Leaver, Taker, Believer, I think is the last real foot stomper, really good, you know, enjoy it kind of tune. After that, the album really kind of mellows, though. Ow, you know what I'm saying, man? You're Still the One is very acoustic-y. It's alright. The lyrics match what you would expect with a title like You're Still the One. Or, I mean, You're the One, sorry, You're the One. No, still, You're the One. It's not a bad song, don't get me wrong. You know, it's like when Zeppelin did slower, great acoustic kind of tunes, talking of love and women and all things kind and dear. For me, it slows the album down a little too much, but I'm not huge on those kind of tracks, right? But it's still good, very good, don't get me wrong. The New Day kind of continues that a little bit. And to me, it's kind of, at this point, just really kind of slowed down the album a little bit. And then we get to Mountain in the Sun, and Mountain in the Sun picks up the tempo a little bit, gets, you know, a little more electric-y again. But Mountain in the Sun never really gets that kickback like it did earlier in the album, you know? It never really kind of picks the album back up again. But really good tune. Like, the guitar work on that one, man, the guitar work throughout this whole entire album is really fantastic. It honestly is. I really do love a lot of the slide work that's on here, and sometimes slide can feel like it's overdone. At no point ever on this album do I feel like the slide's overdone or overused. I think it's fantastic every time it's used in here. Then we go into Brave New World. Brave New World, that's cool. That's something a little more different. Brave New World kind of musically throws back to Anthem at the beginning. It's kind of a nice kind of, or not Anthem, sorry, Age of Man back at the beginning. And it really kind of pulls it all nice in together, brings it around full circle. To end it out on the last track, which is Anthem. And Anthem, it's not what I would have chose to end the album on. I understand why they did. It makes sense. But to me, it's a little too acoustic, a little too mellowed at end the album on. If you watched, now here's we go full circle back to that Zeppelin. If you watched my video review of Physical Graffiti, I talk about how when it came to the second album of Physical Graffiti on the side 2, it felt like it was kind of the leftover stuff or the acoustic-y stuff. Like, they went really heavy at the beginning, and then the second album in general was kind of like, here's all the other stuff we've got left over. These, a lot of it's going to be more acoustic, or we're trying this, or we're testing that, or we're experimenting with this. That's kind of how this album feels. The first half of the album, even a little past the first half of the album. Well, let's see. No, the first half of the album. If you say that Lover, Leaver, Taker, Believer is the last track, it's track 5. So if you say that's the last half of side 1, and then side 2 is the rest of it, starting at You're the One. Side 1, killer side of the album. Side 2, if I were listening to vinyl, I would only listen to side 2 every so often. Just because it really does kind of slow things down a little bit for me. It's a little more mellow for me. However, if you like classic rock, if you like I said, if you like Zeppelin, you really need to go check these guys out. And they're not ripping off Zeppelin. Let's be clear. This is not a Zeppelin ripoff. This is a band who came out 40 plus years later. This album here was released in 2018. So you're talking just shy of 40 years after Zeppelin called it quits. They sound really good. Were they quite possibly inspired by hearing Zeppelin? If they say they never heard Zeppelin, I'm going to say they're full of shit. If they said they heard Zeppelin and they went, I want to be like that, I would believe that. And they do it right. They do it good. This is not, like I said, there's definite similarities, but this is great music. I honestly believe there are a few songs on here, especially some of the more upbeat tunes, like When the Curtain Falls, Lover, Leaver, Taker, Believer. I really do believe that those ones could be getting played on rock radio, no problem, still 10 years, 20 years from now. You're the One and Watching Over, even though they're ballads or slower or more mellow or whatnot, you know what? They're good radio cuts too. I could still see them being on the radio 10, 20 years from now because they're honestly good tunes. This album does have lasting power. It's not just a flashbang kind of album. It's also their second album. I have a digital copy of their first album because my buddy Don picked it up when he was living with me, and I burned a copy of his so I could listen to it as well. I don't have a copy of it. Will I go pick it up? Yes, because there's great stuff on there too, and it's worth talking about. I also will pick up the new one as well, so I can get around to reviewing that for all of you too. Otherwise, let me know what you think, in your comments here. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, that way you get notifications when new videos come out. Otherwise, peace, love, and take care.